today were the last day of your life you could ride a motorcycle, what would you do? Where would you go? Would you go alone? Would you take your friends? Those of us who can ride sometimes take it for granted. We throw a leg over the bike, twist the throttle, and off we go without ever thinking, what if I couldn't do this? I feel a sense of guilt sometimes when I make motorcycle videos talking about the thrill of riding and how happy it makes me, knowing some folks who watch this channel can no longer ride, or never could to begin with. It got me thinking, if today were it, the last day I could ride a motorcycle, what would be my plan? Which bike would I take? Would I take it easy and enjoy the scenery? Or would I go balls to the wall and wear out my tires? I'm still searching for an answer, but I know a few things. My sense of direction is sort of like a puppy's. Sure, sometimes I kinda know where I'm going, but most of the time, it's just a frantic sprint from one random spot to another. That's just me. I've been called frenetic, and while I think that was an insult, it's pretty accurate. If I had to plan my last ride, I don't think I'd do much planning at all. I like the idea of pointing the bike west and going west. Or east, since there's more room that way. If I have even an inkling of a time I need to be someplace specific, then that's all I focus on. Damned is the scenery, the smell of the fresh-cut grass, the pure relaxation. No, instead I become mission-focused, and it can ruin an otherwise beautiful ride. Today would be my last day of riding. I'd pack light. I'd bring a camera, but a real camera, not a phone. I'd capture not just the scenery, but the feeling of freedom that comes with riding. I'd make a point of stopping and just being, whether it's at an overlook, next to a river, or halfway up a mountain pass. I wouldn't record video though. I don't think I could relive my last day of riding in such stark detail. It'd do more harm than good. Photographs would tell a better story. I might bring some music, but only listen to it sparingly, and I'd be selective about what I brought. See, I have about 10 or so playlists filled with all kinds of music, and when I ride, I'll say, Siri, play Ride 4, or something, and it gives me a soundtrack back to a different point in my life. That's why I'd put California Dreamin' on the list. I put that song on my very first ride playlist back when I rented a Moto Guzzi back in Palm Springs, California, and rode it flat out to Joshua Tree. It was one of the best, most memorable days I've had in years. I'd put On the Road Again by Willie Nelson on the list. That song appeared on a playlist I made for a trip through Nevada and up through the Alvord Desert in southern Oregon. And I'd put some loud pop punk on there just because sometimes I like to yell and scream inside my helmet along to the music. It's therapeutic. Anyway, I'd bring my titanium camp kettle, my little camp stove, some water, and a bunch of tea. Nothing says stop and relax more than making tea in a titanium kettle on the road. It's magic. I highly recommend it. If it were my last ride, I'd leave the earplugs at home. I'd risk the hearing damage to immerse myself in the sounds of the road, my engine, the wind, and whatever else comes along. And I'd wear my favorite black leather jacket, regardless of the weather. When I put that jacket on, it sends me to a place from which I rarely want to return. I'm a loner by nature. I'm terrible at small talk and sometimes have a hard time reading other people's emotions. Other times, I'm way too good at it. Both scenarios are a recipe for disaster. If it were my last ride, I think I'd have some talking I'd need to do with myself. And if it were my last ride, I know I'd never be the same afterward. The whole idea of riding my last ride scares the living hell out of me. Over the past few years, riding has become such a huge part of my identity. I'm not sure how I'd go on without it. It's provided me friends. It's provided me inner peace. It's kept me sane, healthy, happy. If it were my last ride, it'd be like going to a funeral. My own funeral in a way, because a piece of me would be dying. I'm not sure I'd want to drag friends along on this ride. I'd show them photos after, and we could reminisce about great adventures we've taken together. But for this day, for this ride, I'd go solo. Then I'd take my bike home, give it a good cleaning, and get it ready to change someone else's life.